Hey guys, Chris Sider here from Ex-Boyfriend Recovery, and today we're going to take a bit of a scary trip into the mind of a man. See you on the other side. So I've thought a lot about how I was going to structure this video, and ultimately I decided to divide it up into two sections. The first section is I'm basically going to be giving you a tool to dissect what your ex-boyfriend really means when he says something to you, and also I'm going to be covering the most asked questions I get about, when my ex-boyfriend says this, what does he really mean? So let's just hop right to it. The first thing I want to do is give you a tool. No, not that kind of tool. Basically, this is going to be a tool that is going to help you dissect what your ex-boyfriend really means when he says something to you. And I like to call it the actions versus words theory. Have you ever heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words? Well, basically what that means is when someone says something to you, ignore what they say and instead look at what they do. And this is what I want you to do when it comes to dissecting what your ex-boyfriend is saying. Actions always speak louder than words. And that's the premise of the actions versus words theory. Now, let me give you an example. If I were to say, I'm going to read you a children's book today, and then instead I did this, all right, today we're going to read Sleeping Beauty. Let's begin. I'm so above this. Basically what happened there is I told you that I was going to read a children's book to you. But then when push came to shove and it came time to actually put up, I kind of shut up. And therein lies the basis of our theory. Basically what we're looking for are actions instead of words. So a lot of time women who get really upset about what their ex-boyfriend says to them aren't exactly looking at the actions, because after all, breakups are really highly emotional, and oftentimes during a breakup we say things that we don't really mean. Speaking of things that we don't mean, what I'd like to do now is turn our attention to some of the most popular things that an ex-boyfriend can say during or after a breakup that has women wondering what he really means by that. So I suppose I should start off by saying that what I've done is identified the top 3 things that women have asked me on Ex-Boyfriend Recovery. What he means if he says he hates you, what he means if he tells you that he never wants to talk to you again, and then finally, it's not you, it's me. Let's begin. I hate you. That scared me. And a lot of women have the same reaction when their ex-boyfriend says, I hate you. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you is we really are going to rely on the actions versus words theory. Basically, take everything he says with a grain of salt and wait some time and study his actions. If his actions don't line up to hating you, most likely he doesn't hate you. But what could be going on in his mind to make him say something like that? Well, there are a lot of things that could be going on in his mind, but what you really have to understand is breakups are highly emotional. Now, when emotion runs high, logic runs low, and we often say things that we don't mean. For instance, not even relating to breakups at all, but I have said I hated things that I really didn't hate. For example, if I said, I totally hated that movie. Well, if I say something like that, if you really study the core of what I really meant when I said it, it's not that I actually hate the movie with every fiber of my being. I just hate how it made me feel. And I think that's applicable to breakups. Because, again, emotion runs high, logic runs low. We often say things we don't mean, and sometimes when your ex-boyfriend is saying, I hate you, what he's really trying to say is, I hate how this entire situation makes me feel. And that's understandable. But what else could be going on in his mind? Well, I wouldn't put it past anyone going through a breakup or even any highly emotional state to do things to kind of bring other people down with them. The more the merrier, that's the logic at least. So it's highly possible that he's saying, I hate you to you not to be spiteful, but rather to pull you down with him and sort of like, I know if I say this, it's going to hurt her. So I'm going to say it so she'll feel exactly how I'm feeling. Misery loves company.
Never talk to me again.
The good old never talk to me again. It's a pretty fairly common thing for an ex-boyfriend to say to an ex-girlfriend. My first piece of advice here is not to get too overly emotional or upset about it. 85% of the people who come to ex-boyfriend recovery and, go through a breakup end up getting back in touch with their ex at some point in the future. So it's really, the odds are in your favor here of getting back in touch with your ex. So don't take it too personally. But with that being said, disclaimer here, there are two situations that we really need to talk about relating to this certain thing that an ex-boyfriend can say. Two situations? Are they bad? Well, one is and one isn't. The first thing you need to look at is if your ex-boyfriend said, never talk to me again, in a heated moment or during the midst of a breakup or any kind of highly emotional state. And the second situation is if you're being flat out annoying. So if your ex-boyfriend said this in the midst of a heated argument or during a bad breakup or any highly emotional state like that, he probably didn't mean it. You can say this in the heat of the moment to hurt the person. My opinion on it rather is he didn't really mean it. He's just saying it to make you hurt. Now, on the other hand, bad news for if you were annoying. If you were annoying, he may very well have meant it. Now, I'm going to tell you a funny little story about me. There was a girl once who had a major crush on me, and it got to the point where she was texting me a lot, and it was getting on my nerves. So one day I flat out tell her, please don't keep texting me this much. It's getting kind of insane. And this is the type of girl that would constantly text me, and if I didn't respond immediately, she would get really angry and upset with me. So eventually I decided, after this continually kept happening, and I warned her at least 3 times to tone it down some, I just flat out told her, hey, this is the last time we'll be talking. I'm blocking you. Bye. I basically took the power out of her hands completely. Pretty smart on my part. I thought it was pretty low-key. Actually, that's kind of a jerk move. Hey, no judging. This is a safe space. Here's the point I'm trying to make. If you're annoying to your ex-boyfriend, he may mean it when he says that he doesn't want you to talk to him. Okay, so what do you do, or is there any hope if you were annoying? Well, yes, there's hope. It's oftentimes when an ex says, oh, let's just never talk again. He doesn't mean forever. Like I said, 85% of the people end up getting back in touch with their ex. It's just, if you were annoying to your ex-boyfriend, there's a higher chance that he probably means what he says in the moment. But it's not a forever type of thing. It just hinders your chances a bit. Let's move on to the final thing that you're wondering about. It's not you, it's me. Hi, darling. It's not you. It's me. I don't know how to say this to you, so I'm just going to say it. I have no problem delivering bad news to you. In fact, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help you. And oftentimes that means telling you things that you don't want to hear. So here we go. If your ex-boyfriend uses the it's not you, it's me, and believe me, there are many ways to say this to someone. I just want you to be happy. Oh, it's nothing you did. I'm just not at a point right now in my life where I can date you. It's not you, it's me. It's an excuse. He doesn't really mean what he's saying here. It's never him and it's always you. That's basically what that means. Flip it around. It's not you, it's me. Make it into it's you, it's not me. So what the heck happened? What went wrong in your relationship? Well, in order to explain that, I need to teach you something that I like to call the attraction scale. Now, the attraction scale is basically an all-encompassing scale that I like to use as sort of a number scale, 1 through 10. 1 being the lowest point of the attraction scale, where he's not attracted to you at all, and 10 being the highest point, where you're some sort of goddess or the ungettable girl. So, here's an in-depth explanation of the attraction scale, and it's going to perfectly tie into the "it's not you, it's me." As you can see here, this is our attraction scale. Pretty awesome, right? So right here, close to me, the closest number to me is 10. That's the highest point on the attraction scale. It can't get any better than this. And obviously, way over there is 1. Now, 1 is the lowest point of the attraction scale. It can't get any worse than a 1. So, let me explain to you what happened during your relationship that caused him to say, "it's not you, it's me." Basically, let's pretend that when you started dating your ex-boyfriend, you were an 8 on the attraction scale. That's a pretty darn solid number. Now, bear in mind the attraction scale encompasses everything possible. You have physical attraction, emotional attraction, personality, any other little attraction stuff that you can think of, basically is this. So when you first started dating your ex, you were an 8 on the scale. That's pretty good, like I said. But then let's say after 3 months, the honeymoon period fades, and instead you're a 6 on the attraction scale. Well, all of a sudden, he's starting to look and say, she's not as good as when I first started dating her. And then a few more months pass by, and all of a sudden you're a 4 on the attraction scale. Holy Toledo, look at that! You've cut your attraction in half to him. At this point, he's probably saying, I think I need to find someone else. It's a little bit of the grass is greener syndrome, where he thinks he can find someone better than you. Now, that's where he initiates a breakup with you and says, "it's not you, it's me," in an effort not to hurt your feelings. And you can kind of understand he's nice in that way, where he doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but I'd rather someone be honest with me than BS me. So a lot of women who get this line and understand what happened here get really depressed. You know, they get really sad and eat ice cream all day. But I tend to look at it a little bit differently. I look at it as an ultimate opportunity. What an opportunity you have to move from a 4 on the attraction scale to a 10 on the attraction scale. I mean, imagine if you did that. Imagine if you ran into him one day and you had transformed yourself from a 4 to a 10. Well, then he's going to start thinking, maybe the grass wasn't so green on that other side. Try it. See if you can accomplish it. I dare you. Hey, thanks for getting to the end of this video and watching it till the end. I really appreciate you and everything that you've done for me. If you want to learn anything more about your ex-boyfriend or relationships in general, stop by www.exboyfriendrecovery.com. You can find the link in the description below. And again, if you want to like this video or subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment in the YouTube section. I'm going to be responding to everyone that I possibly see there. And I just want to take another moment to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And if you need any help, feel free to comment below.